Hello and welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of Driving Home.
Driving Home?
As we're recording this, you might be able to hear a few noises in the background, so I think I might have to do that one again. Alice! We're just going to start doing a podcast. If you could just keep the noise down for you and mummy, like banging doors and things. Okay?
Singing, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, cheers. Hello and welcome back to Driving Home, season 2, episode 2.
Episode 2.
I think I'm going to stop saying that after the next one, don't worry.
We're going to get confused, we're going to get this wrong.
I have no idea,
No.
Effectively, we're going to jump straight into it, and this is all about, well, it started off as Car of the Year, electric Car of the Year.
It did, yeah.
But it's not that. We're going to basically go through the price brackets, starting at up to 25, so effectively 20 to 25.
The entry level, all the way through.
Yeah, because there's nothing cheaper than 20 grand at the moment in the electric car world.
This is new cars only as well.
Brand new cars, and we're going off prices we found, not list prices.
No one goes to list prices, do they? So we're using websites like Drive the Deal.
Yeah, Auto Trader, things
Yeah.
like that. Just not a big in-depth thing. I'm not saying you can't get better than this, but effectively, if we say it's below 25, that's not list.
Yeah, it's what we managed to find it at very easily.
So we're going to give you 2 options for each price. A small car, like a city car, and then a family car. Because obviously, there's no point in... Like What Car, for example, they've said the best electric family car for 2022 is... What do you think it is?
Best
Electric small car, sorry, not family
electric
car. I meant
small car. I would have said...
Exact wording. Small.
Maybe a small car. I'm thinking Fiat 500 Corsa sort of size. That's, that sort of size of vehicle. Let's have a look. Oh.
It isn't that.
Isn't it? I'm guessing it's a much bigger vehicle.
Sorry, that's the large. I'm looking at the wrong one here. The large car is the long range Model 3.
Okay.
The small car is the Cupra Born,
That's not a small car.
which is basically an ID3.
That's a big car.
They're,
That's about the size of a
they're,
Tesla.
they're basically saying that the small car is anything below 4.5 metres.
Okay.
So effectively, you're going from a Citigo or a
Yeah,
500 all the way up to an ID3.
Wow, it's amazing how somebody can just redefine small car.
Yeah, so that's why we're not looking at, that's why Car of the Year. I mean, it's very difficult for them to do. You've got to pick one, haven't you? But ultimately, we're going to do it by price bracket because I think
that's a fairer thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're buying a car, it's usually you have a certain amount of money you're going to spend.
Absolutely. For me, we're just going to stick with that. Right, let's start at the cheap end, which obviously is unfortunately above 20 grand.
It is, yeah. There's nothing. But I mean,
What's a cheap end?
You
Cheapest
did
end.
used to be able to get something just below 20, didn't you? But now you're.
Yeah, 17, 18 grand used to be able to get things like the E-Ups or the Citigos. and
Citigo.
whatnot, but no longer. Prices have gone up, unfortunately, or they've just stopped selling them.
Yeah.
2 options. I know what I'm going to pick in the small car category, and we do mean small car like a city car.
Yeah. I think I've seen.
Under 25 grand.
I have 2 cars that I'm going to pick as a small one, and I can't choose between the 2.
Oh.
If I can, it would be the Fiat 500, the longer range, or if money was really the reason behind buying an electric car, the E-Up. It's a very difficult car to.
So what if you have to pick car of the year? Car of whatever price bracket this is.
Let's go for the E-Up.
Someone has to get the award.
E-Up because it'll do roughly the same miles. I know it's a lot different inside. The trim level is obviously a grade or 2 below the Fiat 500.
It's kind of premium-esque.
But for what you're getting for the money, it's a good entry level car.
Like
into
4
EV.
grand cheaper prices we found it.
Yeah, it's a big whack, isn't it?
So it's slightly unfair, but see, I want to say the Fiat 500 in part because, like I say, it is a step up. We did like it when we drove it. It is on the channel, of course. And I felt like I was driving something a little more special.
Yeah.
Whereas the E-Up, or we had the Citigo version.
Yeah.
It was just fun. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
It was bonkers.
You closed the door and you looked at the internal trim and it was just tin. The
same
colour as the outside of the car.
Yeah, but it wasn't pretending to be anything else, was it? And I think
it was raw.
You know what? I'm going to say the Fiat 500 just because the E-Up's been out for so long.
Yeah. The Fiat 500 was a better car. I'm just saying the E-Up just because it's so much cheaper.
There's more toys and things than that. The Fiat 500. But I think you.
I would buy the Fiat 500 myself.
Yes.
But I think if you're looking at it as a package and being that much cheaper, I think it's
£4,000 a lot of money.
Yeah, and it's not like it's a bigger car or.
No. So which one? All right, then. You're going for one. I'm going for the other.
Yeah.
Oh no. All right, so there we go. We've got no consensus at all.
I
But
would pick both if I could do, because they're both a very
both
good
either.
car.
Both.
Yeah.
You know, this is like modern school. Both are winners.
Both are winners.
There
Or
are no
losers.
losers.
They're both losers.
Family car. Now, this is extremely limited to the point where there is effectively only one option. Two, if you...
If you could squeeze into it.
I would class the Corsa E, which is I've managed to find for £23.
That's a bargain,
It's
isn't
a bargain, but for me, is it a family car? I wouldn't.
I think you could, well,
They manage.
you could get away with it,
but I
yeah.
wouldn't class it
Yeah.
in the family car
we
category.
had a Mini as a family car when I was little.
Exactly. So there's only one option. It's the
It's
Nissan
the
Leaf.
Leaf, yeah. Unless
The 40.
you're very fortunate and you can get the MG.
Well, yeah, all right. We'll mention that the MG5,
Yep.
and that's the long range one,
Yeah, yeah,
60
yeah.
kilowatt hour one, an estate car. Again, it's on the channel. If you're part of the Affinity scheme, which is NHS emergency services, basically, and education, I think.
Yeah.
Then you can get it just under 25 grand.
So it's limited to those
Yeah.
people, but if you can, then I think that's probably the best.
The MG5 is light years ahead.
Yeah, it's
Basically, what I was saying to someone at the moment, rather than spend 4 grand on a Leaf, spend 26 on the next step up. But we're sticking to the rules.
we're sticking to the rules. Yeah,
So logically, it has to be the Leaf,
it does. Yeah,
just because there's no other option.
It's true.
Winner by default.
Yeah,
So 25.
winner because nobody else turned up.
Well, yeah, basically 25 to £30,000 opens it up a lot more. Let me just click away. You probably hear my mouse clicking. I've done it wrong. There we go. There's not a huge amount of options, but for me, there's a clear winner on the family category. So let's do that first. And it's a car we very, very recently, and it's not gone on the channel yet.
Oh yeah. Could you do?
It's got to be that, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
The
MG
MG ZS, the
yeah.
new one.
Yeah, in that blue colour.
Either the standard or the long range.
Yeah.
You're looking at on the non-affinity scheme, so basically the normal price
Yeah,
for
what
everyone
most
is
people
about
are gonna get for.
28 and a half.
I mean, when we reviewed it, we said there's nothing else you can compare this to that isn't
No.
4 or 5 grand more.
Minimum.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
outright, right? There's no competition, is there?
it does the range of a Tesla Model 3 standard range plus, which is 15 grand dearer.
There'd have to be you'd
Very
have to have a
different
real strange. I don't know. You'd have to have something that you really didn't like about it, or
Yeah.
maybe the badge. I think people won't like, but
But ultimately, it's not just Aldi. It's not like Aldi beans where it's a bit cheaper than Heinz. It's so far removed from.
if you removed the MG badge from it, you'd happily think it could either be, I mean, Vauxhall or Peugeot or something like
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
It's not going to be long, is it? You think until the
7-year warranty too.
Well, yeah, it's not going to be long though, until MG are creating cars that are vastly better.
So that's the family one. Now the
Yep.
small one, I'm going to exclude the Mini because there are only 3 available. They're both level 1. They're all level 1s. And for me, a base spec Mini is awful.
You wouldn't get the base spec Mini, would you?
The car great,
Yeah.
but when you sit in one, because it's all optional extras, isn't it, with Mini? And with that little crappy display, basically you'll have nothing on it, and it still is at the top end of the
Yeah.
It's nearly 30 grand.
It is, yeah.
So for me, that's not it. Obviously, you could spec up a Fiat 500.
Fiat 500 with
But so that's a contender.
Yeah.
It's a contender. You've got the Corsa E's, of course, the E208, the 2008.
Yep.
I've checked these before.
DS as
Renault
well.
Zoe still. Curveball for you. The Mazda MX-30.
yeah, with the.
Yeah, with the suicide doors.
Yeah.
Not very good range.
I think that's the thing that will put me off. That is the range.
Range, yeah.
Yeah.
Hyundai Kona in the smaller battery version. So 39 kilo. You still get 170 miles out of it.
You do.
And it's a compact SUV.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say that's in the family category, but
it's-
almost small.
Yeah.
Citroen C4 is a bit too big for a small car.
It is. Yeah.
DS3 is never going to win that.
No.
So effectively, for me personally, it's between the Fiat 500 and the E208.
The E208 is a good-looking car.
I think it's better looking than the Corsa.
I would
which
go
is
for
why
that
I'm
in the
80 pound
yellow.
looking at the Corsa.
Is it the yellow as a default paint option
Yeah,
as well?
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like a goldy yellow, isn't it?
Do you know what? The Fiat's a better drive, in my opinion, but it's a lot smaller car, isn't it?
It is. So
I think I'd go for the Peugeot just because it is slightly bigger car. It's more usable. It would work as a small family
is it
car
worth
as well.
considering the Corsa E? Because it's the same car. as the
Same car,
208.
isn't it? Yeah.
Well, for me, it just looks dull compared to the 208.
I'd go for the Peugeot personally because I don't know what Peugeot are doing at the moment. Maybe I'm getting old, but their cars are looking very good.
Yeah, definitely.
They're going through a good stage, aren't they?
Do we include the Kona? Because it is a compact SUV. It is small in its dimension. I bet the length of it. In fact, let me have a look. The length of the Kona compared to the 2.8.
2.8, yeah.
Length of Kona. Make sure I'm not searching on any Portuguese websites on this one.
This is,
I don't know the
no,
length of
it's
that.
just,
So 4180 is its maximum. So 4180 versus, what to say there? Well, let's do the Corsa. Whoopsie, Corsa. We should have really done
not
this
cross.
before. We should have done this
Yeah,
before
yeah.
the podcast, really, shouldn't we?
A centimetre in it.
10 centimetres.
10 centimetres.
Is that right? 418.
Yeah.
Sorry, 4.18 rather.
Yeah.
10
Yeah, 10
centimetres.
centimetres.
It's not.
It's not.
Is it a small car? Because the Corsas are no longer as
No,
size.
the
There's so many
Corsa now is
sectors.
the old school Astra size, isn't it?
I think the Kona would win it for me for its sheer efficiency.
And the fact it's got a decent motor in there as well, hasn't it? It's-
Yeah. But it's whether or not you include it in the small car category or not.
So far, we're making a right hash of this.
We are. There you go. Fiat 500, massive respect.
Yeah.
Well,
I go for the Peugeot for me. I think the Kona is
just because the
it
Fiat
just
won the other one.
yeah. It's just for me. You look at the Kona and it is a bigger car. It is a crossover.
Yeah,
it stands up tall. It's more of a family vehicle, is that?
It's certainly not a city car, so I guess
No.
okay, we'll exclude that then, and it doesn't beat the MG. So
Yeah.
therefore, we're going for MG ZS 25 to 30,
Yeah.
or for a city car,
The-
Fiat 500 again.
Yeah.
Although a nice shout out for the Stellantis group ones,
Yeah.
I suppose. Right, now this one for me is going to be the most difficult because even though I've looked at this before, I still don't really know. Are we doing 30 to 30?
Let's go 30 to 35, and then we'll go 35 to 45, maybe.
Yeah. Right.
Oh.
So effectively, you've got all high spec versions we've already
We've talked
said.
about.
MGs included as well, of
Yeah.
course. So you've got the Mockers, the 208s. In fact, let's look at the makes. You have the i3, although it's kind of on its run out now. It's not
Yeah.
really sold, but for me, it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
It really is. More Nissans, so you've got the bigger battery version now of the Leaf, which for me, again, would be a no.
No, I think the thing is with those sorts of cars, they only make sense when they're a lot cheaper.
Yep, of course, you have the big battery version Hyundai Kona,
Yep.
the big battery version e-Niro.
Yep.
In fact, that could have been in the pre-30,000 but it'd been a family car.
Yeah.
And you have better spec minis.
Yeah.
You've got the Peugeots, of course, that we mentioned, the Vauxhalls that mentions, DS, again, DS are going to win,
No,
just forget
no,
them. Mazda, no. Renault Zoe, no.
I think if we're going for
And
small
the
car,
ID3.
for a small car.
It's
In
just
terms of
in the
general,
mix.
okay.
So let's go small car first. So you've got the 500 again, which I don't think it's going to win at this price bracket. It's too expensive.
I've already made my mind up.
Mini,
Yeah.
and that's about it really. It's
I'm
kind of
going-
petering off now in
go
the city
Mini.
car. It's a Mini.
You're going to get
Decent
a
spec mini.
nice Mini for that price, aren't
Yeah,
you?
and
With the
even though
spec
the
you
range isn't great, if you're going to be spending that much money on a Mini, it's a second car.
Yeah.
You're
And
not,
also,
you're not going to be getting a Mini.
A Mini
as
is
a primary
it's
car.
a luxury item as well, isn't it? If you look at the Mini now,
Yeah.
they've targeted that sort of audience, haven't they?
I think this is the last bracket where we do a city car version because there isn't going to
There
be
isn't
any
going to be, no, it's just
above
going to be
this
big
price.
cars.
So effectively, this is as premium as the small car gets, and it's the
Yeah, it's a Mini. Yeah.
Okay, so
I
a
think
Mini
it's-
there, 30 to 35 is the Mini. Now, the family car. You're looking at the ZS,
Yeah.
the more spec'd up long range
Yeah,
ones,
yeah,
where
yeah,
you're in the
yeah.
30, 31, 32. E-Niro. That's a big one. That's a tough one. You have the ID3,
Yeah.
although you could sort of argue you could get that below 30,000.
You could get that below 30,000, and I think that
most
makes
of
the
them are
fun-
well above 30 now. And
Yeah, well, it's
the lead time's astonishing.
Yeah.
At Port. It's about August at the moment.
well, yeah, August now, and then when you start, you
Yeah.
know, it's going to go back to.
You're also looking at the Skoda Enyaq, but should point out that they have a 52-week lead time, which is a year. Wow. So we'll include it, but you're going to have to be looking to find one, a cancellation.
You're going to have to
or
get a
whatnot.
temporary car in between just to keep you going, aren't you?
I hope yours lasts
Yeah,
long
yeah.
enough. So 30,
It's going to make part exchanging quite difficult.
it's going to be impossible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because whatever it's worth now, it's not going to worth a year. That.
No.
So yeah, that's
It's yeah.
We'll include it anyway. So let's forget lead times. So Kona, no. E-Niro for me is a
It's a
contender. The
fantastic
ZS
car.
again
Yeah.
has got to be a
fantastic
contender. The Enyaq,
Yeah.
because it's a big car, is that? The ID4, for me the Enyaq beats the ID4, so that.
car. Yeah, I
trumps
think,
that
yeah.
one.
I think if you could get it, the Skoda for me, but because you can't, the E-Niro. I mean, they're vastly different cars in terms of size.
I guess, yeah. Oh,
The e-Nero is
Who's
I
gonna
mean,
get the
e-Nero is a
award?
really nice drive.
I should point out the Enyaq won the Car of the Year award for, not what car, one of them.
Yeah.
The Enyaq won it, as in the
I think
overall.
I think it's a family car. You can't go far wrong with it. The interior was nice. The drive was very bland and vanilla. It wasn't bad. It
There
wasn't
is
brilliant.
an e-Nero, I think, facelift coming out this year.
It's a nice car, isn't it?
It is, but it's is it getting old? Or
Well, the thing is,
we've just
it
reviewed
may,
it.
it may
it's
be
still
getting
very good.
old, but it's still, you know,
Still
still
punches
doing,
well
still
above
doing
its
the
weight.
numbers, isn't it?
Yeah. 35 grand, is that a lot for an e-Nero? I mean, it's basically the same price as the Enyaq, but
Yeah.
you get much better range, but the Enyaq's
Yeah.
bigger. Or are we looking at the ZS still?
Is there Soul on there?
The Key Soul, sorry, yeah. I thought,
Yeah. Would that be a small car? I count that as a small car, probably.
It's the same length. Near as damn it as the e-Nero.
Wow. It just looks a lot.
I think it's the same size as the Kona.
Yeah, same share same platform, don't
Yeah. So
You buy that just for the stereo.
it is a fantastic, and at the front, I think looks fantastic.
Yeah,
in the right
yeah.
colour. But yeah, what about the ZS though? Would that be the Enyaq?
Do you know the ZS would, but I think if you're going to get it, don't get it at this price.
You get it.
Get it at the
sub 30 price.
It makes
yeah.
sense. It makes so much more sense at that price.
Yeah, I suppose. But the
Yeah.
Enyaq is starting at that price, and it can justify it because of its extra size
Yeah.
and various other factors.
If you need a really big car, I would say the Enyaq. If you don't need as big a car, the e-Nero.
I'll see if I can find a picture for you of the new Kia e-Nero.
Let's try and translate this over to podcast.
podcast.
Yes, well, it's got 4 wheels.
But
I
it
do like that.
kind of looks like the EV6 crossed with the e-Nero.
Yeah.
So that might have won it, but it's not out yet.
No, so we can't.
Not
can
going to
we?
include it.
No.
So, what do we say then? Enyaq
Enyaq. Yeah.
and the.
But if you can't get that, the second prize goes to the e-Nero, because if we're getting it now and it's a year to get it,
Yeah, absolutely.
then it's
So,
e-Nero. So Enyaq, if you didn't have a waiting list.
Okay, right. Well, next 35 to 45, and this is going to be extremely difficult because when there's no city cars.
No.
So let's bin that. So this is just one car now. The king of it, and this won the What Car Long Range EV Award, which was the Tesla Model 3, of course.
Yeah.
The Model Y is too expensive in this
It
price
is, yeah.
bracket, so forget that. You got the Kia EV6,
V6, yeah.
the Ioniq 5.
Fantastic cars.
Yeah. The Polestar 2.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, fantastic cars.
Yes. ID3s and 4s and whatnot, I think we can exclude because of.
Yeah, you're not going to spec. You wouldn't really.
I
There's no
wouldn't.
point
no,
in picking
no,
up, is
no,
there? You
no,
might as well get
no,
something
no,
that's a
no,
lot.
no. It's not that. It's not that exciting either.
No.
So effectively for me, it's between the Model 3, the EV6, the Ioniq 5, and
Polestar.
the Polestar 2.
Do you know? Oh, what a difficult. Do you know? You could pick any of those 4.
And it'd be brilliant.
It'd be brilliant. I would go for the Model 3 purely because it's
The package.
a package. Yeah.
The supercharging network we always bang on about, but believe me, we go on lots of journeys. Every time we go to
Lifesaver.
Scotland
Yeah.
in the Tesla, we just go up to Scotland. Every time we go into Scotland in other EVs, which we've done a lot of,
Yeah.
or any long journeys, but I'm using that as a specific example, we always end up at a broken or a busy charger and thinking, oh, if we could just use those superchargers over there. Why
It would
didn't
be
we
so
come
much easier. Yeah.
It is a big thing, isn't it? But are we?
You've got to look at it as a
the
package,
idea.
though, haven't you?
You do, I guess. Yes.
I mean, other than that, maybe. I mean, yeah. Either of the 4 cars is not a bad one. There,
Good
is it?
efficiency with
Yeah.
the Model 3. Way more efficient than the EV6 or Ioniq 5.
And the Polestar.
And especially the Polestar.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to bin off the Polestar too because of its efficiency. If you took away its looks, it wouldn't be
It's
that
not that much.
impressive a car.
No, exactly.
Quite frankly,
No.
well built. But other than that,
It's for good-looking person that's not got much about them, isn't it?
effectively, yeah. So it's Model 3. I'm going to bin off the Ioniq 5 personally because I think the EV6 looks better.
Yeah.
I think the Ioniq 5 looks good, but it's going to. I just get the sneaky feeling it's going to date.
Yeah.
In a few years' time, the EV6 will still look as good. The Ioniq, but I might be wrong.
I
I think
think
it's retro.
I'd go for the Tesla, but every time I saw an EV6, I'd go,
I'd wonder.
yeah.
you've got things like vehicle to load with the EV6, which you don't have with
don't
the
have a Tesla.
Tesla.
But
So
I
there are
think
a
in
few unique
reality
things
is how often would you
there.
use that?
And the
It's
model,
a nice thing you go, oh, I can do this twice a year when I maybe need it.
and the range is probably the same, even though the EV6 has a much bigger battery.
But I
Because
think
the Model 3 is that much more efficient.
you get the EV6.
Standard range plus, just to point out.
Yeah. You get the EV6, you do a long journey, you have that time where you turn up at a charger that doesn't work,
And yeah.
and you're looking at your range and going, can I make the next one? And everybody else in the car is going, why didn't you get a Tesla?
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's impressive technology. You can charge it up to 300 odd kilowatts if you
If
can.
you
Again,
can
if it's
find it,
800 volt charging,
Yeah.
and 4. So
There's nothing, the car is probably, in many ways,
Ionity is the only thing that
is superior to the Tesla.
Yeah,
I think the fact
but you
that
get the better
it's
charging speeds at the Tesla
well, that's the thing, isn't it?
because of the network.
It's the package, isn't it? And that's exactly why I think that one of the main things that the Tesla has is that you put your destination in and you don't have it just does it all for you.
Yeah, you're going to supercharge here for 25 minutes and then get to your destination.
It does all that for you.
And you're guaranteed it's going to work, the supercharger.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about any of that. And I think for that alone, it'll be a Tesla. And everyone who's listening to this is going, oh, God.
Fanboys.
Yeah.
Fanboys.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. Believe it, arguably, we've driven almost every electric vehicle on sale.
Majority of them, yeah.
There's only a couple left,
That
and
we
we've got them
haven't,
coming up. And we've done lots of journeys.
Lots of big
I've owned
journeys.
EVs for 7 years nearly. That supercharging network is such a big advantage.
It's a massive tick in that box,
When
isn't it?
they open it up, because they've just opened it up, not just in Norway, in Netherlands now, to Norway and one other country, I can't remember, maybe Belgium or something. So they are opening the supercharging network up for the
Slowly.
people. So if they open it up in the UK, that might change the choice
Well, yeah, it may do.
to an EV6. But as it stands now, there's a Tesla guy there, there's a Kia guy in there. You got on the wall, you got the trophy in your hand, and you're giving it to the Mr. Tesla guy. 7-year warranty on the Tesla, on the Kia, 4 on the Tesla, excluding batteries, of course.
I think it's going to have to go for Tesla just for the supercharge network at this present time. I think, in many ways, I'd want to give it to Kia just for producing a car that is just
That good.
yeah, it's just so they've made such an effort, and it's so different to other things that are on sale at the moment. So car design, maybe it would go to Kia, but I think in terms of a package, a Tesla.
And that would mirror, I'm looking at What Cars, Best Electric Cars 2022, and they've said the same thing, although theirs is obviously, in fact, they include the EV6 as well. But then their best overall car, as in petrol or electric, is the EV6. So the Model 3 beats it in electric car category, but as cars as general, it's won the best car of the year of any car.
Maybe an EV6 if you're thinking, I'm never going to do a long journey and I can charge from home all the time.
But we're going to say Model 3.
Model 3, yeah, I think Model 3.
Or should we just give it to both, because there are no losers in this?
No, Model 3. I think it's got an unfair benefit of a charging network which you can't overlook.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Well, yeah, can't really argue with that, which is ultimately why I ended up buying one. And if I traded in, I'd probably just get another one again.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you at this time?
Exactly, yeah. And astonishingly good residuals, although probably the same for the EV.
Yeah. It's difficult to argue not to get one, isn't it, really, when you start looking into the finer things.
Yeah, and you would be getting a lower spec EV6 at that price bracket as opposed to the Model 3.
Which is
the Model 3.
Yeah, which...
Yeah, all right, yeah, I agree. That's what we'll go with. Now, where are we at? 45. Should we just go 45
to 60?
Yeah, all right, 45 to 60.
Then we'll do 60 and above.
Yeah. This isn't particularly well populated, to be perfectly honest with you, because we're just looking at more expensive versions of everything
what
we've
you've got.
already mentioned. So for me, if you're buying a car for 45 grand, why would you buy a 60 grand version?
Version of it, yeah.
But
people do like to spec stuff, don't they?
They do. So 45, 60 grand. There ain't going to be a huge amount coming out here. Audi. Oh, actually, yeah. I think I already know the winner.
Mercedes have got.
No. I already know the winner for this.
Go on.
It costs £51,000. We have to include the Model 3 long range.
Yeah.
For me, though, I'm going to pick the i4.
The i4? Oh, yeah.
BMW i4. It's basically a 4 Series, full electric. It's got very, very good reviews. And 83 kilowatt hour battery, starts at 51. The iX3 is bloody awful, I hate it, but the i4 for me...
That's a proper car, isn't it?
Yeah, and it won the best interior award on another, I can't remember who it was. It's a solid BMW. If anyone who's owned a BMW will know what we mean by it. Just does feel better, doesn't it? The engineering is there. And when you get into that, or an identically priced long-range Model 3...
Yeah, I think you're going to look at that.
The interior is effectively just solid, it's nice, and you get very, very good range. Not sure if it compete quite with Tesla. You don't have the supercharger network, so we'd have to include that. But for me, that is going to sell extremely well on the company car market.
Oh,
especially.
yeah.
Every
long distance salesman is going to...
Yeah. The iX3 is bloody awful. I hate it. Mercedes-Benz do have a few options. You've got the EQA and B, but for me, it's just, I hate SUVs.
Well, the thing is, EQA just looks awkward.
Yeah. I can't tell the difference between an EQA and an EQ B because they look the same.
If someone's got to explain it to me.
It's like Audi. You would
Volvo.
Or the XC40.
Yeah. Does that
I think I'd have 50 odd grand. Yeah, would do.
Oh.
For me, I'd have the i4 over that any day.
Yeah, it's going to be a
way
lot
more
better.
efficient.
It's going to be a lot better drive.
It's bonkers.
Well, it's going to have the BMW driving, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think the Audi Q4 e-tron for me. It's just a boring SUV. 50 Shades of Audi.
Yeah.
They're all the same. And all the high-end Volkswagens and stuff you can
There's
forget
no point, is there?
No way. And again, the Kia, it's just a high-spec version. I'd go for the cheap one.
Yeah. Being a Yorkshireman, there's no point paying well over the odds for something you can get a lot cheaper that does most of the stuff.
Oh, we didn't think of that.
That's amazing.
The Vauxhall Vivaro E Life van.
That's cool.
48,000.
8 seats. Only 50 kilo.
No, I think for me, this is one. I mean, I can't wait to get hold of it. That's one we are waiting on. But the i4 for me. Well, how many times have people been saying, when are we going to get a 3 Series? Which essentially the 4 Series, isn't it? When are we going to get a full electric 3 Series? Well, there it is.
It is, yeah. Well, the thing is that once they start making the current lineup electric, it's...
Yeah. I mean, would you go for that or a spec'd up ID4?
Well, if I got the BMW, I would want it to have the armrests on the chairs that fold down.
Not the ID4 ones from the British Rail.
Yeah, can you put these on the ID4, please?
I mean, look, I'm looking at one now. It's a £52,000 ID4 Pro Performance Max.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but getting inside that, the interior of that is shocking.
200 brake horsepower.
50 grand pack car.
And something that's that heavy as well.
And the i4, I'll bring it back, is... Come on. No,
that's
fantastic. Brilliant website, apologies. The i4 has 340 brake. So it's not quite Model 3 long-range territory.
When's that? What did it say on if you click back again? Is it available to order but not being built until?
We have build slots available for it.
Right, okay.
So yes, you can buy one.
You basically, it's pre-ordered.
Yeah. And, you know, who's to say in terms of efficiency, because we haven't done it on a long journey, not many people have yet, but...
End of 2022 build lot.
Right, so you are going to get it this year. So there is a bit of that, you have to wait, whereas you can get a Model 3 long range in March.
Yeah.
And, of course, the supercharger network has to be included.
Well, why?
That is, yes, 50... We're going to 60, so yes, the Model Y is included. I'd go for that. I'm looking at that now.
Unless they need the space.
And I think it looks really good.
It's nice and aggressive, isn't it? I mean, but I don't know about you.
Model Y is...
The grills are growing a bit on me. I think on the SUVs it does look ridiculous.
I mean, it's not the best looking grille they've ever done, is it?
But it's not as bad as it...
I look at that and I think, I know that's a 50 grand car.
Yeah.
I look at a long range Model 3 or even the Model Y at 50 odd grand and go, all right, I'm buying into the package, but that is not a £50,000 car. As in, the build or the quality of how it's been screwed together, should we say. Yeah. But the supercharger network did win out for the long standard range, so does this have a big advantage? Because BMW have to use the same public charging network as everyone else.
Can you imagine that? Having to queue and wait behind some an MG.
Ooh. So does that affect
It's like, you beat me at the lights.
Trouble is though, when you get to above £50,000, I want something that I feel is a little bit special.
Well, you're spending a lot of money. You want something that's that looks like it's worth that, don't you? Or certainly when you're inside it, has that feel to it.
Yeah, and for me, the Teslas are 40 grand cars, not 50 odd.
Yeah.
I mean,
for
I'm
me,
not
it's the
saying they're
same
not
with-
great, and performance is very impressive in terms of the performance version, and your technology is really good. You just take the fanboy out of it.
Yeah.
The car is fairly average.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I own one. And, you know,
Yeah.
I love the car. And the supercharger network
But
is a big plus, as we said, but that I just think the i4...
it's not top of the range BMW when you sit inside it, is it?
No.
I think for
53,000 for that, and that's an M Sport Grand Coupe.
The same with the Volvo XC40. The fact is that you can get one for, is it around 30 grand a normal one?
Yeah, the petrol version.
Yeah,
Yeah.
diesel
It's a
version.
30 grand car that's priced at 50.
Exactly. And that's it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, can't wait to test drive that.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an
I
eye
don't
on
think
that
we'll
one.
want to give the keys back.
No, that is a genuine alternative to a Model 3.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't afford one, but if for whatever reason I was looking at the i4 or the Model 3, I think I will go for the
It's a
BMW, quite
BMW,
frankly.
isn't it? I mean, the build quality is going to be vastly different, isn't it? We'd expect the materials inside.
Yeah. The dealer network that will actually pay attention to you, and
Yeah.
believe me, I know. So there is other things that you get with dealers like BMW that you don't with Tesla.
Yeah.
It's not just the
Yeah, yeah.
superchargers.
Okay then.
But then driving across Europe, I'll be probably wishing I'd have gone in the Tesla.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? Once
I'm
you
gonna-
can-
I'm
once you
gonna
can
pick
use
the
the.
i4.
Yeah, I think we did Tesla for the previous one, didn't we? It can't be a Tesla whitewash, can it? I think
Well, I think that's a better car.
I think
at
it's a
this
better car,
price.
yeah.
I think it's better value at that price, as bizarre as that sounds. The i4
It's
at
going to
50 odd
drive a lot.
grand.
Well, you'd think it would drive a lot better.
Oh,
They've always driver focused as well, aren't they?
very
BMWs?
much so. And the interior just looks like it's worth 50 grand.
It does, yeah.
I like the Model 3 interior. You know, I think I quite like the minimalistic of it. I think the facelift is a bit of an improvement, but it's not a patch on that.
No. It's very nice, isn't it? That.
No. So yeah, for me, the i4 then.
Yeah,
60
I'll
grand.
go for
So
that, yeah.
above £60,000. So now you're looking at things like the iPace, which isn't going to win it for me.
No.
As much
It's
as I
an odd
like it.
car, isn't it?
Well, they have improved it.
Yeah.
It's just I've had so many people tell me
Reliability.
issues are
Well,
you know,
it seems-
compared to others.
It seems to be. I'm just going to readjust my microphone. That. Yep. All right. It seems to be that there's quite a lot of people who have had Jaguars and had massive electrical problems with them. Whether this is just not EVs, but in
I
general,
know I've heard a lot of people with EVs have issues.
have electrical
as well.
problems,
Yeah.
which is the irony of
Right,
that.
mate, it's never going to be an Audi, like
Just 'cause
e-trons and
who
that.
would own an Audi?
But we are now looking at above £60,000, which effectively does take us in the e-tron GT / Taycan bracket, which starts at 70 odd for the Taycan. We'll tell you now, it's not the Mustang Mach-E
It's not the most
at all, not even the GT version of it.
The GT version there, is that available?
Yep, it is at £66,000.
Wow. I would, I would like to drive one just to see if it is any improvement.
At the end of the day, it's a 60 odd grand Ford.
Yeah, I know.
and
I
it's
know.
no
But I would like. I
GT40.
wouldn't choose it. I would just very much like to drive one.
Yeah.
But no, it wouldn't be one of them.
And we were very disappointed in the one we just tested.
yeah.
As in, the ride was awful.
Yeah, it
wasn't just not very good, it was awful.
It was awful. Yeah.
Mercedes, though, there's a few things coming out, so not quite there. The EQV, was it? No, that's the van.
That's the van.
Wake up now. EQS. Now that is meant to be immensely efficient, like above 400 miles.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking a £100,000 car and above.
The thing is,
So it should be good,
yeah.
but
Mercedes know how to do interiors as well, don't they?
they do.
Wow,
And
look at the interior on that.
it is special.
It's like a yacht.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be out of place on the yacht, would it? That.
No. And if it is meant to be genuinely as efficient,
Yeah. Well,
as the WLTP range suggests. So you're going to get 350 plus out of that.
Oh,
Miles.
that's going to be
I'm
amazing.
sure of that.
Yeah.
And I know, £100,000 car is ridiculous, but for me, it's that or the
Taycan,
e-tron GT.
which is
I prefer the look of
Taycan.
that, I think.
yeah. So we're saying,
I think it's that.
do you reckon?
When I say that, I'm pointing at that,
Yeah.
and no one can see what I'm pointing at on the podcast.
No, maybe this,
The Mercedes-Benz EQS, for me personally, just because it's a proper ground-up EV. It's the first proper full electric Mercedes for me. They've, like when they shove everything in the S-Class. It's like this is the technology.
Yeah.
This is what will be
This is
filtering
that's
down.
their S class, isn't it?
Yeah, effectively. Well, it is
It is
EQS.
their S. Yeah.
I mean, it's a big one. It's a comfortable. It's not.
Look at those seats.
But that's what I mean. We didn't go ooh even when we saw the Taycan or when we drove the Taycan.
Yeah.
Or the e-tron GT. They're different. That's
Yeah,
a sports
yeah,
car.
yeah.
But that you wouldn't look at, I don't think, in your garage and go, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But I don't think you would over the either two either. However, that you would just waft everywhere. And
you would do, yeah.
you're in luxury.
It's one of those cars, isn't it? It doesn't. It's not the way it looks. It's the way when you're inside it.
Yeah.
It's all.
If I'm spending £100,000, I want the interior to match it. And
yeah.
although the Taycan is very nice, it's not
not
that.
No, it's not shade on that. Is it?
I encourage anyone listening to this podcast, assuming you're not driving and co.
No, even if you're driving, just get your phone out. Definitely don't.
The Mercedes-Benz EQS interior, just Google that, have a look at that, and it's just, like you say, it's like a high-end yacht, isn't it?
Yeah, you
look at the display, the way it's integrated, the seats. That for me is back to good old Mercedes.
Yeah.
And it feels £100,000 when you're sat in it.
You could be ferried around in the back of there, and it'd be a very nice place to be.
And it does have a lot of performance, but it's not
designed
the
for
performance where you're going.
It's the Bentley
wait a
thing,
minute,
isn't it?
I'm doing 150 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's the Bentley thing. It doesn't seem to be shifting, but you've done 60 in 4 seconds.
Yeah,
sort of thing,
that's the sort of thing that you'd be shuttled around in.
I kind of like the look of it. You know, for me, it's got an under the radar. You know, like the old Audis that were fast, like the S4s.
Yeah.
Where you could have put any badge on the back and you wouldn't have.
It wasn't
known what
shouty.
It was. Yeah, that's what that's got. It's not shouty, is it?
It pulls up in a high-end hotel and just picks someone up, puts
And
them
just
in the
drives
back,
off and it's
and wafts away.
yeah.
I just think that is the punch in the face
Yeah.
that Tesla needed.
Oh,
Because look at the interior.
Yeah, it's
It
the
is
biggest thing that.
a light year ahead of even the Model S Plaid.
Yeah.
It just very different cars. I'm not comparing them,
But yeah, it's a competition that is needed right at this moment. But I must say, if I did have one of them and did drive it, I think I'd kick myself for not getting a Taycan. I think I would enjoy driving the Taycan more.
Yes.
I think that's a better engineering showcase. Maybe a showcase of technology.
And build quality.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, although the Taycan was very, for me, the Taycan is a 70 grand car. That's a £100,000 car.
Yeah. Well, they're very different cars, isn't it? One in my mind is a luxury car, and the other one is a sports car.
But that for me is pure luxury.
Yeah.
It's the epitome of luxury.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
Taycan is not full-on sports car.
So it's a crossover. No, it's
not a full-on sports car, is it?
It's a Panamera, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is it's a GT.
Yeah. So for me, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to wait for the 911 electric, which isn't going to come out. But you get my point.
Yeah.
The sports electric version, because the Taycan is
Cayman, won't they eventually?
Yeah. The Taycan's too big to be a proper sports car.
Yeah.
So that's a luxury car that gives you full-on luxury, whereas the Taycan GT and the Audi.
Do you know it's
full-on sports car.
It's a better place to be in there.
Yeah, I bet if you pulled up in that, people will go, looks nice, what is it? And then they get inside and go, wow.
Yeah.
The Taycan, not the best looking Porsche, is it?
No,
I like the e-tron GT, but for me, it's, you know what? A YouTuber would buy those two, and a hotel owner, someone who's basically
minted.
If you have the same amount of money, you buy the Mercedes.
Yeah. Well, it's like
it's too shouty as a
when
Taycan.
we were chauffeured.
Yeah.
He just bought Mercedes.
Yeah.
Every car he had, was it an S-Class we were in?
I think he said he had 10 cars in his fleet.
Yeah, we were in we were maybe in an S or
It was an S-Class.
S-Class. And then they had a people carrier, which was another Mercedes. He had a minibus. That was a Mercedes.
They also had EQVs.
Wow.
Or at least a few of the people they worked with had the EQVs, the electric.
So it would appear that
didn't get the range that they said they would out of it, but
No.
they chose it for a reason.
So yeah, that's it, isn't it? So these sort of people who are chauffeuring people around, they're expecting to be picked up in something that's luxury.
Yeah.
And Mercedes is the epitome of luxury.
I think that's why for me this one wins it. The Mercedes wins it because I'm expecting pure luxury. I get pure luxury.
Yeah.
With the Taycan, I'm expecting Porsche performance. You're getting it, but it's just not close enough to a 911 sort of fun.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not that for me is the best they can do at the moment.
Yeah, it would be nice to have if the Taycan was a shorter car.
If they made a 911 full electric, or at least took the chassis from it,
Yeah,
or whatever,
just
and
fill
then
it.
said, this is a sports car, we're not trying for range,
Yeah,
we're not trying for anything else, it's a pure and out sports car, then I would probably pick that. But for me, the Taycan is going to be surpassed when the next Porsche comes out.
Yeah.
That's
always going to be.
The EQS isn't going to be surpassed for me, apart from when the next version itself comes out. So
well, I think you've talked me into it. I was going to go for a Taycan.
You know what I mean? It's not
probably the Gran Turismo. But I think after
it's the hardcore luxury model, whereas the Taycan isn't the hardcore sports model.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like the.
There's a compromise there.
It's not. It's like not like the the GTRS, is it?
Yeah. If you could get a GT
stripped out
2 RS Taycan or something, maybe it'd be that. Because like you say, you'd probably prefer to drive that, but it's not the best handling Porsche. Whereas I think that's probably the most luxurious Mercedes.
And also, if it's been an EV, it's going to be probably the quietest.
Oh, that's going to be. You get away a mouse fart in that, won't you? I mean, but I just keep on looking at the interior and thinking,
so what's that noise I can hear? Dudum, dudum, that's your heartbeat, sir. Okay.
Jeeves, have you had something to eat? All I can hear is
exactly. The thing is, the wood trim on that dashboard there, I would expect that during the service, that's oiled.
And you know what? You won't even know it's service because they'll come and pick it up for you. Again, that's what I mean, it'll cost you, don't get me wrong, but it's just...
It's epic.
It's a work of art, almost. I mean, look.
Yeah, that is just... What we are looking at is the interior here. Look at that. So it's got basically three screens.
Concepts.
Wow, they're concepts. We can get a screen on either side.
But in whatever version and colour, it looks like you're in something.
You can have all the ambient lighting and everything as well.
Yeah. Do you want the luxury version, sir? Do you want it to look gaudy? Are you a rich YouTuber or you're just rich? Yeah. Do you know it used to be like the old money and then the new riche? Now it's money and YouTuber money. Influencer.
Influencer, yeah, you're an influencer.
But yeah, that for me is the one that I think everyone will be impressed with the Mercedes. Only some people will be impressed with the sports equivalent.
The interior alone, like I say, it's going back to this, it's a yacht.
Yeah, and everyone's impressed with a yacht.
Yeah.
Typically. Well, we can't really go any higher than that.
Well, we can if we go into... what's the Rimac?
Or the Evora.
Evora.
But they're just...
Yeah,
there's no point going there. I think if you want an Evora and you can afford an Evora, you're not listening to our podcast.
Pininfarina?
Maybe. But either way, I think then it's very individual.
Once you get to that sort
so
of
what have we got in total from start to finish? We had the T500.
About how many minutes? About 47. Oh, right, okay.
Fiat 500.
Fiat 500 already up.
Already up.
Yep.
With
MG.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to say the Leaf because it was by default.
Oh, no.
So
Sorry, no, in that price it was the...
let's just say them two.
Yeah, okay.
Because for me it was by default.
Yeah.
So these are the cars that we highly rate at the price brackets we've
okay.
said. Fiat 500.
Yep.
And that was the bigger battery version.
It was, yeah.
And the
E-Up, which is a good cracking car.
They don't do the other two, unfortunately, anymore.
Nope.
Then when you go up a level...
MG-ZS
in its newish facelift shape.
Yeah.
And...
Peugeot.
Was it the E208?
Yeah, or a higher spec.
Corsa.
Or high spec Fiat.
Fiat 500 again. Then above 30,000
small car was a Mini.
Mini, yeah.
And bigger car was a... Oh, did I say it could be an E-Niro? Oh, it was the Skoda. But we can't get one. So either Skoda if you can get one.
Yeah, the Enyaq.
Or the E-Niro, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And then above that, Model
Tesla.
3.
Yeah, Model 3.
Sunrise Plus. And then above that was the
BMW
i4, yep. And then we went to the Mercedes EQS.
We did, yeah. We've been around the houses here.
So
around the world as well.
So we've basically told everyone that whatever your price bracket is, we've told you what to buy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
as long as you can afford a car that's either 21 to £107,000.
I mean, the thing is, I feel like we're missing out some really good cars, or at least cars that we really like the Honda E.
The Honda E is a cracking little car, isn't it?
It's a cracking car. It's unique, and if you can afford to pay the premium that you'd have to get one,
and
you're not going to be disappointed. Yeah, it's a small, but as a city car, I think I would go for that over the Mini personally.
And with
the second car, sorry,
that body kit on.
Yeah. There's a body kit for it. So there's a lot of honourable mentions you could do here.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean if we haven't mentioned it,
It's rubbish.
no, it's just that if I had to spend that much money,
That's what I'd be getting.
Because I think it's value and expectation.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we always come back to that, don't we? And I think that's the thing with the Ford expectation versus what it was like.
Yeah, the reality is very different, isn't it? Especially given the price. And for me, the Fiat 500 exceeded expectations at the price bracket.
Oh, I mean, it was incredibly efficient and so much fun to drive.
It was fun.
It was. It
And
reminded
it looks
me,
good.
It does. Yeah. You wouldn't feel like a place turning up somewhere and cutting hair.
Well, the thing is,
It's got a nice look.
the
to
Fiat
it,
500, I think, is one of those classless cars, like the Mini.
like the Mini.
Where
Yeah.
it could be put outside an expensive house or a not expensive house or a city or a countryside.
Yeah,
It suits everywhere.
I think it does. Yeah.
And again, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than all the alternatives.
It is, yeah. I did like we had the flip paint, didn't we, on the one that we had? It was
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it the ocean? I can't remember what they call it.
Yeah,
But it was a green and two such shades of blue, wasn't it? It was.
But it's nice that they've got a small car because, as we've complained many times, everything's a massive SUV right now. I'm sick of it.
And they didn't. The Abarth as well would be coming.
They're bringing in our
Bath
baffles in
out.
apparently. Not this year, but that'd be interesting.
That's gonna
I
be
just
fun.
hope they don't make it a trim because
Oh, they need to make it 180 brake, don't they?
yeah, well, the Cupra Born, they're doing like a fast version of that.
Oh,
It's going to have the same performance as the other one, but have like a boost.
That's basically they've just changed
Temporarily
the map
over voltaged it or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, for me that is not.
No, it's not, is it? No.
The Enyaq VRS looks interesting
It
when
does.
it comes out.
Well, it'll be a 2-year wait list for that soon.
I imagine so, yeah. The Fiat 500 exceeded expectation. The 208 and that didn't really. It's just best in the choice of that, right? The ZS absolutely beat its expectation.
Without a doubt. I mean, yeah, I
value
struggle
mainly.
not to recommend that to
Yeah.
anybody who wants a car under 40 grand.
Absolutely. I think the i4 for me, I like it a lot because it isn't an SUV.
Yeah. In the world of SUVs and crossovers, it's a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, it looks like a normal car.
Yep.
What's wrong with it?
And although we've clearly not driven it, the EQS for me gives you exactly what you thought you would
Yeah.
be. So again, it's this expectation versus reality.
It'd be nice to be able to test drive one of those. Or even better, not to test drive one, to be chauffeured around in one. I think that's the sort of car.
It will be, won't it? Well, I'll send an email to Mercedes.
See if
Do
they
you
say-
know who I am?
Can you send me a driver of the car?
Post haste.
Chop.
No, I think that for me is only going to be bettered by one thing, which I believe is out next year. But I could
Strippers.
No, the full electric Range Rover.
Ooh. I mean, the thing with that is it's going to be
It's about 120, 30 grand.
such a heavy vehicle, though. It's what sort of range are they going to get out of that?
They'll probably put a 120 kilowatt hour battery in it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess you're going to have to get at least 250 miles out of it, close to 300.
But for me,
The epitome.
when you've got the money,
Yeah.
to buy that level of car, it's almost always a Range Rover, isn't it? Because
Well,
the
yeah.
interiors are just. I'm in a boutique hotel. It's solid. It's a proper off-roader if you really want that.
I think you can get. The thing is, as well, I think with a Range Rover, is you can get away with it.
Yeah.
People look at it and they're not going to think, "Oh God, bloody hell, you posh."
Yeah.
Then they go, "It's a Range Rover." You see plenty of them around. That it's not. I say special, but it's not that thing where you look at it and go, well, like a Ferrari. Well, look at it, we've got a Ferrari.
You can actually order the Range Rover plug-in hybrid.
Plug-in
now.
hybrid.
In fact, I know someone that's ordered one.
Yeah.
I do. And as soon as the full electric version comes out, he'll
He's
be ordering
ordering
that.
it. Well, why not?
Although, it is a funny story for you. If you order or get a Range Rover delivered of any type, I believe, right now you only get one key
And who keeps the other?
due to the key shortage, chip shortage.
Really? What, they'll
And
post
you'll
you
get the
one
other
out?
one in 6 months' time or something like that.
Wow.
Wait a minute, I've just bought 100,000 my car and you give me one key.
I mean, the thing is, they need to take a page out of Tesla's book, don't
I
they?
think you can use a phone as well.
Right, okay, then that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's quite
Can
amusing.
they send you one, and you and the wife share the car? Where have you left the key? It's in my pocket. Why? Well, I need to drive it. So
I think it's 2024 the full electric, but they're bringing out
some
a
time.
lot.
When is this? Not? Is it 2 years?
Yeah, but it's hard to say. They keep on changing it, and you're going off everyone's prediction. Lots of hybrids coming out in Range Rover. They're just not ready for it. But look at that, Range Rover Sport SVR hot EV coming about.
Wow, 616. Do you know what they've done with Mr.
No,
Trigger?
plus a hot V.
Ah, right. I was going to say, if they make a hot EV, it needs to be 666 brake horsepower.
See, the problem for me is you look at it's the SUVs are ruining everything.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the iX3, which technically is meant to be a very impressive electric vehicle.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Look at the iX. Look at it.
Yeah. Do you think it's a lot like skinny jeans? In that nobody wants to wear them, but by default, people are wearing them because they're being made. And nobody wants an SUV. They're just being made, so therefore people are buying them.
Yeah. I know there are people out there that want an SUV because of, well, the ride high and it's easier to get into maybe.
So when they go windsurfing at the weekend and then mountain biking, during the week.
It's just an awful car that costs a fortune.
Yeah. I can see why I mean, the thing is, you can look why they put the an EV drivetrain in there, because they can squeeze it in.
Well, you go higher, don't you?
Yeah.
Basically, cars are becoming like property in cities.
Yeah.
We'll just go higher,
Yeah.
Same footprint. But that's why, again, as I said before, the i4 for me is
a proper car.
It is a proper car, and it's not 70, 80 grand.
But, I mean, if it handles anything like
a 3 Series,
well, a 3 Series or
a fast
an M
3
car,
yeah,
the 340 or something like that. An M Light.
I wonder if we'll see an M3 electric in the next 5 years.
I would have thought so.
You think?
Yeah, why not?
It's going to be hybridised soon.
I would have. Well, the thing is, I guess you got to look at it. The whole weight side of the things, haven't you? But saying that though, I mean, the Taycan didn't feel like it weighed that much in terms of what it did weigh.
No,
it hid it very well.
Well, I think the extra torque you get with the electric motors kind of irons out that weight, but then it affects handling. It does.
But the Taycan still though, it was relatively
true.
Was it 2.1? 2 point?
It's a heavy car.
Yeah.
Well, who knows what they're going to do with it, but either way, there's a lot coming out now from the traditional manufacturers that's changing everything.
There is, And it's nice to see that you go back not so long back and you just had a car. I'll bring up the Leaf, which was a very strange looking car compared to
the Leaf or a Zoe. That was the choice,
Leaf
basically, wasn't it?
Yeah, or a G-Wiz.
Oh Jesus, don't even go there. But what is the thing? I mean, is it just we did a video about this, about the supercharger network.
Yeah.
But for me, again, I know they want to encourage EV ownership, not just Teslas, and they can make money from a supercharger network that makes money.
Yeah.
Isn't it just basically? It would make me look at every other car. We've picked the Model 3 rather, because of the supercharger network.
Yeah, right.
Take that away. So if you can get an i4 and use a supercharger network, even if it costs you a bit more money, who cares? You bought a 50 grand car.
That's it.
We have to pay 5 pence per kilowatt hour more.
Well, yeah.
Or even 10. That suddenly means, well, you know what? I can buy anything now and
not have to worry about it. Yeah. I guess the only thing that the Tesla does have in its favour is that it plans these stops in for you.
Well, other cars do that. They just
if it was smart,
they can't rely on the network.
Yeah. Again, a letdown by the network, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So
a shame.
Right, I think we're done.
Let's wrap that up.
I'm not sure whether what we're calling it. It's not Car of the Year. How about best electric vehicles
in certain price ranges?
Yes, and if
and sometimes we give you 2 answers. So it's a really bad.
Oh God, you're going off script now, Harry.
Yeah.
The script that we wrote for this podcast.
Oh, hang on. That's your line. Sorry.
No, I genuinely think they are the best options at the moment.
I think so. Yeah.
Not to say that if you buy something else, it's not good.
Yeah.
It's just I think the value just isn't quite there.
Yeah.
I'd love a Honda E. I'd love a Mini.
I just don't.
But then I'd have to be willing to pay the premium to get them. Mm-hmm. And then it's a case of
what else can you get for that?
Well, it's like going on a holiday, a 5-star accommodation or a 3-4.
Yeah.
It's not really changing the holiday because you're not spending that much time in your room. But if you got the money, you'd do it.
You do it, yeah.
So anyway, right, I think we're done. So you do have one more job to fill.
Oh, I've got a word to think of.
To fill. So the last word, I'm going to throw it on you now. The last word. Here we go now. Here it is.
Jigsaw.